Let's kick things off with Van Moody joining us from Alabama. Hi, Van.
Hi, Lauren. How are you doing today?
Good to see you again. I see you've changed your backdrop, I think. It looks a little different since last time we spoke.
Yeah, actually, I'm in D.C., so praise God for that.
Oh, you're in D.C.?
Yeah, I'm in D.C.
Oh, okay. Well, how's the weather over there?
Cold.
Especially for you, right? Okay.
Very much so.
We're talking about when workers should know it's time to move on, to quit their current job, and think about getting a new one. When is that time?
Well, oftentimes there are telltale signs that people ignore or sometimes are not even aware of. And so I maintain that there are really about 6 important signs that your workplace relationships are heading south and that it might be time to change.
Okay, let's go through some of those signals. You said there's 6. What's the first one? Harboring secrets, when you notice your coworkers are kind of not telling you everything, maybe talking a little bit about you, or you feel like they are.
Excellent. I think there's several, but these are my power 6, and you hit the nail on the head. The first one is that when you realize that secrets have become commonplace in that work environment, and secrets will undermine any potentially healthy work environment, because whenever there is not an atmosphere of transparency and openness, no relationship can thrive. And so when that begins to happen, you have 2 choices. You can feel betrayed and harbor that resentment, or you can go directly to your boss or your coworker and to begin to flesh it out so that you can recognize whether or not this is a situation that demands that you make a transition or something that can be worked through.
That seems to be the situation, the feelings that are between workers, but sometimes you feel like your company is keeping a secret from you in the sense that you know layoffs are coming, or you know that they're going to make a move or an acquisition in the near future, and you're waiting for them to tell you what this announcement, whether good or bad, is, and it seems like they're keeping the details a little bit too hush.
Yeah, and one of the most important things I think that people have to remember is the statistics reveal that 60 to 80% of all issues in the workplace stem from relational issues, and that's why these Power 6 are important. And you just hit on a really significant one. When you sense that they're harboring secrets, or maybe even there's outright lying, no relationship in the workplace will do well when dishonesty abounds. And so one of the things you've got to do is to not allow that suspicion to fester, but you've got to go directly to those individuals to begin to ferret out whether this feeling is valid, or whether it's a misunderstanding, or whether it's been promoted by rumors or just innuendos.
Great. Let's move down this list now, Van. You say here it becomes all about your coworker. Can you go through that one with us?
Certainly. Every healthy environment in the workplace, even in your personal life, has to be about a give and take. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I suggest is it needs to be win-win. But when you have a colleague that is all about them, particularly in the workplace, to your detriment, meaning that they're always taking, that you are adding value to projects, but they're always taking credit, or when it's all about them, that's a telltale sign that there's a problem. And if that's happening, number one, you can't give into the fear of what will happen if you speak up. You've got to be very upfront that what you need in these kind of work relationships and connections are win-win situations, so that everybody in the workplace can truly achieve success.
You also have here communications with superiors is primarily negative. I think that's a good point. The way I interpret that is sometimes you're just direct, you call a meeting with your boss, you ask a couple of questions. You can tell by how they answer you what their feeling is towards you, if you're a rising star with them, or if they think you're just mediocre. And if you're mediocre, you ain't getting anywhere.
Yeah, that's really important. I was going to say it's extremely significant for a couple of different reasons. Even when that's happening and you sense that and maybe that feeling's been validated, there's an old adage that says that you can kill people with kindness, and that is very, very true. That's one of the best ways to snuff out negativity when communication has become very negative and judgmental, lacks any constructive wisdom or advice, particularly as it relates to the projects you're working on or even just regular advancement for your career. A lot of times when individuals are judgmental and negative, they are put on the defensive when you don't respond to their negativity, and that often leads to a change in disposition in their own life and in the way that they deal with you.
Okay, and the final point here as we wrap this up that I want to flesh out with you is when you don't feel valued by your employer. I think it's a very pervasive issue. Companies and bosses forget about the little people that make the company so great, and sometimes appreciation goes a long way.
One of the most important things for every individual in the workplace to figure out, number one, is how their level of value needs to be communicated. Because often in the workplace, it's not necessarily that bosses or coworkers don't want to communicate that level of value. Oftentimes they don't know how to do it in a way that's appropriate for that respective employee. And so that has to be communicated. All of us measure value a certain way, but you've got to express to your boss and your coworkers how you measure value. And then one of the things you need to do is to let them know up front that it's important that I hear from you that I'm adding value, because if not, I won't know how to improve and to continue to make sure that the bottom line of the environment is moving forward.
Van Moody, thank you so much for joining us. And once again,
thank you so much for having me, Lauren.
The People Factor. Great to see you.